As a leader, pastor, prophet, evangelist, teacher, whatever, so on and so forth, we are held at a higher standard. God gave me this word the other day. Y'all, at first I didn't want to release it because I'm like, God, I am not perfect. And he was like, no, I want you to release this word. Y'all, and then he kept stirring my spirit. So I was like, okay. And I had recorded the video and I drafted it. And he kept stirring my spirit. So I watched the video and then I added to it and I drafted it. And then I was like, he has been stirring and pressing me on this. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to record it again and we're going to do this. Okay. And I still may post the other because it was real and raw, right? And I say this out of love when I say this. I'm not here to judge anybody at all. I have no room, right? I cannot throw rocks at a glass house. But y'all, it is imperative. It is so important to pray for our leaders and anybody that's in ministry. So if anyone says they're without sin, they're a liar. We all fall short of the glory. We all sin. We all mess up, right? Including leaders, including pastors, including prophets, so on and so forth. So if you come on here, right? Or even in person and you see, prophet, pastor, whatever, right? And you see different things going on in their life, right? And maybe they are falling short of who it is that God has called them to be. Lift them up in prayer. And don't just cast judgment, right? Right? Because you could have your own skeletons in your own closet. When you come to God, you are supposed to take off that old man and put on the new man, right? And I'm going to start out by this. I used to go to this church and there's a pastor there, right? And amazing person. And he ended up cheating on his wife and the whole church collapsed. Okay? And I mean, so many people can point blame, like, you're not supposed to cheat. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. That man is called, okay? He definitely is. And anyone who follows God has a past, but it's important to leave that part in the past and allow God to heal them, right? It's part of this journey. And in my past, there were times where I was doing really bad and then I would come to God, man. I was on fire for God. And then I'd fall back off again into sin. And then I was on fire for God. It wasn't that I wasn't called. It wasn't that I didn't love God, right? I needed to be delivered. I needed maturity. There's different things, right? I would go through something and then old habits, old ways of thinking would come in and I would succumb to those, right? And then I would feel guilty and I would walk away from God. And if you've been following God, maybe this has happened to you. So once you come to Christ, once you come to God, once you come to Yahusha, however you say it, right? You're supposed to change and allow God to change you, right? Because sometimes like letting go of those old habits, those old ways of thinking are hard and we slip up. But it's also important to receive constructive criticism or not necessarily constructive criticism, but accountability from your brothers and sisters in Christ, right? And we are here to lift each other up, not to judge, not to cast judgment. When you see it, pray for it. You don't even have to tell that person you're praying for them. You just pray for it, right? So whether you're a man of God or a woman of God, also you're supposed to be dressing modestly. Point blank, especially if you're a pastor. You are leading other people. They're following you. They're watching you. They're listening to you. And so when you're leading someone, you don't want to lead them in the wrong direction. But also, when you are a leader of any form, you also need prayer too. You're human, right? We are human. And also be mindful, like if you're taking offense to the things that I'm saying or about to say, to bind that spirit, because it's also a demonic spirit that'll make you be offended by something that should never have offended you. Something that you should have been like, you know what, you're right. Forgive me, Lord, right? Or and asking God for forgiveness, okay? Or whatever, and so on and so forth. And also, maybe you're not a leader over a bunch of people, but you're the leader over the ones in your household, right? They're watching you. And I have been down this road for a long time, right? For those that follow my ministry, some of y'all know, like, I used to be a stripper, right? So whenever I see it, I recognize it. I recognize certain behaviors. Not everyone is the same, but there are definitely things that can be recognized, right? Say somebody just goes through a breakup or a divorce or whatever, right? That first initial feeling, oh, I want to make them see what they lost, or, I'm a good person, or I'm this, or I'm that, or, I still got it, and this and that. And It's this mindset. It's an immature mindset. I've been there. I've had it. I've done it. And sometimes we do it without even realizing that we're doing it, right? It's not supposed to be that way. When you come to God, you're supposed to have a different mindset. You're supposed to think differently. You're supposed to dress differently. You're supposed to act differently. You're supposed to be differently, okay? We also don't want to cause our brothers and sisters to stumble, to fall short of the glory, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not here to say that you can never wear some cute little dress, that you can never wear something that's a low cut. I never will say that, right? Because sometimes God will give you a word or this or that, and he wants you to release it in that moment. And maybe, it is what it is. But be mindful of purposely wearing certain things to events and being out and about and taking all these different kinds of pictures and videos and posting them, right? Jezebel's spirit is a real thing. A spirit of lust, sexual perversion, all these things are real things. And maybe sometimes someone who's been through a lot as a child reverts back to certain behaviors because there's certain deliverance that they need, or there's certain healing that they need. Y'all, pastors need deliverance too. And maybe they got deliverance and then need it again. That's a thing. It happens. And I'm not here to say, oh, somebody is not gifted, they're not called, or they're fake. No. I am not saying that. There are people out there who are definitely called, definitely gifted. God is speaking to them like he is using them, and they're under attack. They're under attack. But because they're in leadership, people think they're so up there, they got it, right? They got it all covered. They're good. They got it. They know what they're doing. They should know how to recognize that. They're leading other people. No. Even Moses had his hand up, had his friends hold his hands up in battle. We are supposed to even change our language, right? So maybe somebody has completely quit cussing, and then all of a sudden you notice them having cuss words and stuff slip up. Pray for them. Don't just be like, oh, look at them. I'm not going to follow them no more. Look at them. But also having discernment, because there are fake pastors. There are false pastors. There are false prophets. We're in the end times. Let's be real. Discernment is key in taking everything back to God. And to get out of that mindset of that everything a pastor or prophet says to you has to please you. Sometimes things are going to be said that ruffle feathers, right? It's going to irritate your flesh. Your flesh doesn't care if you get into heaven. It doesn't even go with you. It does not care if you get into heaven. So sometimes if something is said that offends us, take it back to God, because it could be your flesh. It could be your flesh, and then I've even heard things of, oh, well, somebody shouldn't be looking at me. Let's be so for real right now. No. We should not be checking a person out like that. We shouldn't be lustfully looking at a person like that. But there's also a certain level that shouldn't be flaunted like that. And then I've also heard, well, that's just who I am. That's me. I'm just being me. I'm just being real. Right. That's who you are. That's who you were. So that's who you were. But who are you now that you've come to God? Because you're not yourself anymore. It's he who lives inside of you. It's he who operates through you. More like him and less like you. Yes, you still want to be you. Yes, you still want to have fun. Yes, you still want to be real. Yes, you can go do all these things. But when you come to God, there's certain things that you have to leave behind, that you have to let go of. It's the cost of it. It's the cost of coming to him and walking with him and listening to him correctly. So whenever you say something, you do something, you go somewhere, you put something on, what is your thought behind it? When you post certain pictures, what is your thought behind it? Catch it. Correct it. We're human. I've done it. I've been there. If somebody says something, don't take offense to it. Look into it. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to be hurt. Well, it's not okay. We don't want these things to happen, but it does happen. So don't be offended by it. Get up. Don't run. Don't be afraid. As your sister in Christ, I love you. Right? And God has pressed me about this video. So I pray it reaches who it's for. As your sister in Christ, I love you. God bless you. Be mindful. Shalom.